Tomorrow night, four men will converge inside the most sadistic structure in the history of World Wrestling Entertainment. Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, The Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar will be stepping inside the Devil's Playground. Hello, friends. It is once again Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio here with you for this special pay-per-view preview edition of the Wrestling Forum, as we are going to preview the WWE Hell in a Cell 2015 event, which will be live tomorrow night on the WWE Network and most pay-per-view providers. It will be live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. A total of, I believe, 7 or 8 matches on the card. I am joined by my partner in crime, as always, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. For those of you who may have missed it, I did a special NFL Saturday show tonight. I did a rare solo show. That video is up, so check it out whenever you have a moment. I give you my picks as well as my power rankings for the week. So that's up and ready to go whenever you're ready to check it out. So there you have it. So with that said, let's dive right into our Hell in a Cell preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. Normally we skip the pre-show match because the pre-show fight's usually not worth our time. But even though this is a rather good one, I mean, we have a 6-man tag team match. It will be Dolph Ziggler teaming up with Adrian Neville and Cesaro going up against Sheamus, King Barrett, and Rusev. That should be a great 6-man tag. I really don't know how to go with that, but we'll see how that goes. But I got a good feeling that could be one of the better pre-show fights we've seen in a while. So with that said, let's dive right into the main card here on Hell in a Cell. And I'm going to go in the order that Derek Ferreira did it in his sports blog yesterday. So that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to start it off with the WWE Tag Team Championship matchup. It will be the New Day defending the titles against the Dudley Boys. And, well, what can I say except, of course, this has been going on for quite a while now. I mean, it all started at Night of Champions last month in Houston. The Dudleys winning that by a disqualification thanks to Xavier Woods interfering. And then they met again as part of that special live show at Madison Square Garden on October 3rd. That was another disqualification victory due to outside interference. So it's put up or shut up time for the New Day. Are the New Day going to continue their run of dominance in the tag team division, or are those damn Dudleys going to make history and become the 10-time WWE Tag Team Champions and add yet another chapter to their incredible legacy as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, tag team of all time? Well, I've been saying it for a while now. I can't believe this is not a tables match. I thought for sure this was going to be a tables match, but nonetheless, though, at least we got it, though. At least we got the match. I think it's going to be a solid match, to say the very least. It's going to be probably a 2.5-star match at best, based on the body of work. But at the end of the day, though, I got the feeling that they're going to want to push the nostalgia train known as the Dudley Boys. So I'm going to take the chance here, and I'm going to say the winners and the new WWE Tag Team Champions, those damn Dudleys. Yes, book it. New champions. By hook or by crook, they're going to do it. So with that said, Phenom, Michael Bullock, your thoughts, tag team title match, New Day, the Dudleys. Do you think we're going to have new champs, or do you think the New Day is going to find yet another way to escape with the belts? So Phenom, it's all yours, man.
Yes, thank you very much, Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio, and the president of the Rhode Island of the Yes Movement. Yes, this is the Phenom, Mike Bullock, and the vice president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement here for another edition. We're here for our Hell in a Cell preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. Yeah, this is the third meeting between these two, and of course, those damn Dudleys have won by disqualification thanks to some New Day shenanigans, thanks to, of course, Xavier Woods, and and I do agree. I mean, I am surprised that this is not a tables match. I mean, I thought we were gonna get it, but you know what? As long as we have the match going, I'm fine with what we got here. So, can the third time be a charm for the for the Dudleys? I'm gonna say yes. I mean, I think this is the time that they're finally gonna take those belts off of the New Day and finally put it around the waist of the Dudleys and become your 10-time WWE Tag Team Champions. So winners and new Tag Team Champions, those damn Dudleys. So, and what I think should be a solid tag team match. So really got nothing else to say except let's move on to our next match, Florio, which I'll get into.
Yes, you will, and it will be for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Champion Kevin Owens defending the title against Ryback. So, Mega Bullet, question is, will Kevin Owens retain, or will Ryback, the big guy, regain the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship? Your thoughts on this one?
Boy, a very interesting back and forth with Ryback and Owens. Of course, we all remember Kevin Owens won the Intercontinental Championship from Ryback at the Night of Champions pay-per-view last month, and we all said that Kevin Owens can bring credibility back to the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship because, let's face it, that title's been, I hate to say it, but it's been treated like garbage. I mean, Ryback, I mean, he had a nice run with the title, but I think it was time to put it around someone like Kevin Owens. So yeah, Kevin Owens continues to be that snarky heel guy that basically doesn't give a damn about what people say about him, and as we've always said, he's been that representative of the IWC. So I think it's too soon to take the title off of Kevin Owens. So basically, here's an interesting thing. I mean, here's how I see this going down. I think Ryback's going to win the match, but I think it's going to be by countout because I think we've seen so many times Kevin Owens basically walking out of a match. So I think so Ryback will win by countout, but Kevin Owens will retain the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. So I mean that's how I see this happening. So with that being said, Florio, I give it to you.
Yeah, like Bullock said, last month at Night of Champions, Kevin Owens winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship by hook or by crook, via a roll-up, a rig to the eyes and a roll-up while he was up in shell shock with Ryback. But I agree. I mean, I think this will be a better match this time around. I think we can get a solid 3 to 3.25 stars easily out of these two. I mean, because, Kevin Owens' body of work speaks for itself. For those of you diehard Ring of Honor fans who remember his body of work, which was incredible, to say the very least there, I mean, Fletcher especially, nobody knows that better than he does. So yeah, I mean, should be an interesting fight to say the very least. And should be an interesting fight. So I don't know. I mean, but at the end of the day, though, I agree with Bullock. I think Kevin Owens will go over. I mean, I do agree. I mean, I do think it's too soon to take the belt off of Kevin Owens right now, and he is the hot hand right now. And speaking of Ryback, I mean, I gotta tell you something. I'm not sure if Michael Bullock came across this or anything, but because I gotta tell you, I came across something of just a short time ago. Came across a dirt sheet that I gotta say, in one sense surprised me, but in another sense rubbed me the wrong way. This was a dirt sheet that I found a little bit ago, where Ryback, while on a recent episode of WWE Network's Table for Three, Daniel Bryan, Ryback, and Dolph Ziggler, they sat down to discuss various topics. And, of course, it was during the episode, Ryback explained why he stopped, traveling or riding with Daniel Bryan and Cody Rhodes. Ryback made it clear that Bryan is the biggest bully in the WWE, and that's the reason he stopped riding with them. Ryback had enough after Bryan and Rhodes told the locker room. Yeah, that's what he said. Ryback had enough after Bryan and Rhodes told the locker room that he took Cialis to impress Brock Lesnar. And it said here, and I quote, "I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the night Brock Lesnar came in and Ryback said he needed to impress Brock Lesnar, Bryan added. Ryback legitimately said he needed to impress Brock Lesnar, so he was going to take a Cialis to show him that he was man. I said it sarcastically, like, I want Brock to see how big I am. Okay, alrighty. A little TMI there, but I mean, I felt that was something that needed to be addressed. That was a dirt sheet that I came across just a bit ago. I mean, and you've seen how Bryan and Ryback were on TV. I mean, Bryan was the one who endorsed Ryback as the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion back in May after Ryback won the Elimination Chamber. I mean, we all remember that moment where Bryan presented the belt to Ryback, raised his hand. They had a nice little moment there. I guess that was a farce now, I guess. So, but yeah, I mean, we here in the Yes movement, that's definitely going to rub us the wrong way. So, but that's not why I'm going against Ryback here. I'm just going against him because obviously Owens is the hot hand right now, and I think he's the one, and I think it's too soon to take the belt off of him. Obviously, you hear us say that a lot. So, so with that said, I'm going with Kevin Owens to successfully defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and what I think should be a better match. And I think he's going to win it more decisively this time. He's going to win it the way he should have won it at Night of Champions, and that is, I think he's going to do it with the pop-up powerbomb. I mean, after all, if he could pop up powerbomb a 400-pound man and Mark Henry, for goodness sakes, surely he could pop up powerbomb a 291-pounder in Ryback. So that's all there is to say on that. So with that said, let's move on to our next match, and it's a big one. The John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. We don't have an opponent yet. The big question is, who will be the opponent for John Cena as he defends the U.S. title against him? Of course, you know the story by now. John Cena is going to be taking time off from the WWE to film some sort of sports fitness reality type show for Fox, which he's going to be hosting. So we're gonna definitely get into that. But the big question is, who is he going to face? A lot of names have surfaced. Derek Ferreira even said, could it be a member of the New Day? Could it be Dolph Ziggler? I mean, a lot of people have said Dolph Ziggler. But Derek Ferreira went on the record and says he thinks it's going to be Tyler Breeze. Because, Breeze, just made his debut this past week on SmackDown as the new boyfriend of Summer Rae, in that angle with Dolph Ziggler. So, or maybe it could be somebody we don't even expect. I don't know. But I'm going to be honest with you. Going in this entire time, I had Dolph Ziggler as that guy. But then again, another guy that comes to mind is Cesaro, even though he's in that six-man match on the pre-show. I mean, I really don't know. I really don't think they're going to put Tyler Breeze over. I mean, Tyler Breeze just made his debut. I mean, it would be big for him. Don't get me wrong. It would be monstrous. But other names have surfaced, such as Samoa Joe. Finn Balor has even been mentioned. And heck, I'll even surprise some people. I even read Daniel Bryan's name mentioned. Could you imagine if it was Daniel Bryan that came back and went up against Cena for the U.S. title? Holy guacamole. I mean, you want to talk about prestige and credibility? Oh, yeah. It would definitely come back. But to be quite honest with you, all this time I had it as Dolph Ziggler being the guy. So, and you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's all there is to it. I think Dolph Ziggler is going to take the challenge, and I think Dolph Ziggler is going to defeat John Cena and become the new United States Heavyweight Champion. But then again, it doesn't really matter who it is. Whoever it is that ends up taking the challenge, I think that individual is going to get one of the biggest rubs of his career. Because anytime you can beat John Cena, let alone for the United States Heavyweight Championship or a championship, against the golden boy in the face of the company, your stock's going to rise immediately. But for me, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a new champion. To me, I think Dolph Ziggler is going to be the guy to do it. That's just my guess. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. It's simple as that. So, Michael Bullock, John Cena United States Championship Open Challenge. Who do you think is going to take it? And do you think that individual is going to become the new champion. And oh, by the way, I think this is going to be one of the fights of the night. No question about it. I think we're looking at least 3.5 to 4, if not better. So with that said, Bullock, it's a top 3 fight of the night for sure. But who's going to take the U.S. Open challenge, and do you think we're going to have a new champ?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who takes the challenge. And to be quite honest, and no disrespect to Derek, I think I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with him. I think it's too early to give Tyler Breeze an opportunity at the United States Heavyweight Championship, because I mean he just got called onto the main roster. I mean if he was on the main roster for a while, then and only then I would see him accepting the United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. And I do agree with you, Florio. I think it's going to end up being Dolph Ziggler, and I think he's the one that's going to take the challenge, and I think he'll beat John Cena and become the United States Heavyweight Champion. But then again, whoever it is, I think is going to end up being the new United States Champion. So, and if it is Dolph Ziggler, then we're looking at a damn good match here. Probably 3.5 to 4 based on the body of work. So, I think Dolph Ziggler is going to be the one to take the challenge and will become your new United States Heavyweight Champion. So, that being said, Florio, let's move on to our next match, which I'll get into.
Yes, and next up on our Hell in a Cell preview edition of the Wrestling Forum, yet another championship match. This will be for the Divas Championship. Champion Charlotte to defend the title against Nikki Bella. So the big question here, Michael Bullock, is this: will Charlotte continue her run as Divas Champion, or are we unfortunately going back to the world of Best for Business and the evil Bella Snob Empire reigns again?
All right, well, this has been becoming somewhat of a rivalry between Charlotte and Nikki Bella, but let's not forget the wild cards in this whole thing. Not just Becky Lynch and Brie Bella and Alicia Fox, but you also have to remember Paige as well, because she's been basically going off on every member of the Diva roster, which has rubbed some people the wrong way, including yours truly right here. And there's a right way and a wrong way to go about ranting about the whole Divas division, and I think Paige is going about it the wrong way, in my personal opinion. So, but anyway, getting back to this match, and I did read Derek's prediction, and he thinks that Nikki Bella is going to regain the Divas title because of, well, it would set up, because Paige would basically cost Charlotte the title, which would set up Charlotte and Paige, and then a feud between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, and then later on in the winter it would be Sasha Banks and Nikki Bella. But I have to wholeheartedly disagree. Well, let me change that. I respectfully disagree with Derek Ferrer on this one. I think it's too soon to take that title off of Charlotte. I want to see her get a nice run with the title. Not as long as Nikki Bella's run, but just a nice long run with it. So, to me, I think this will be a solid Divas match, but in the end, I got Charlotte retaining the Divas Championship. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Yes. Last month, our long national nightmare was over. The Bella Empire, the reign ended last month. But then again, who had that all along? Oh, yeah, I did. I'm the one who went on the record when this whole revolution started, the night right around the time of on the Go Home show for Battleground in Kansas City. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was somewhere else. I think it was in Atlanta or something. But nonetheless, when that revolution started, I said that Charlotte was going to ultimately dethrone Nikki Bella as the Divas champion. And what happened? Sure enough, last month, Night of Champions, Charlotte did it. Charlotte won the Divas Championship from Nikki Bella, ending the 301-day reign of Nikki Bella as the Divas Champion. A reign that I felt was probably a good 150 days or so too long, if you ask me. I mean, she should have lost that thing a long time ago. Should have lost it to Naomi, honestly, but that didn't happen. But in a way, it was a blessing because now we got Charlotte, who's been the Divas Champion for the last month, and she's gonna finally, her first official title defense against the Diva she took it from, Nikki Bella. And I understand where Derek Ferrera's coming from, in all honesty, because it would set up some nice feuds there. It would set up a Charlotte and Paige feud down the line. It would also set up possibly Nikki Bella to possibly have a defense against a newly babyface turned Sasha Banks because of all the love she's been getting over the last several weeks. But mainly because of her matches on NXT, and of course those two instant classics, chock full of Shakespearean drama with Bayley at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn the night before SummerSlam. Then of course the Iron Woman match, which just blew us all away. We're not even here, so simple as that. But nonetheless, I think it would be an absolute travesty of justice. It would be a major atrocity, and it would be a big time crime against humanity if, God forbid, they took the title off of Charlotte Flair and put it back on Nikki Bella. I would smell dirty pool. I would smell politics. I would smell Cena rearing his ugly head again. And at the end of the
and Florio, before you move on, I gotta say this: if this happens, I will go on a rant. So
will I.
I will go Ric Flair crazy.
I don't know about that, Michael, but with all due respect, because I am the Ric Flair of the group, and I can do a lot better of a Ric Flair than you can. You can probably go Sting crazy because you've seen Sting go nuts. I mean, go on, or you could do one of your Undertaker rants. I mean, we've seen you go on Phenom rants. Maybe go on one of the American Badass Phenom rants.
Or maybe I'll bring out the Phenom shovel.
Oh yeah, the Phenom shovel. I mean, the only shovel, in my honest opinion, that can trump Hunter's golden shovel, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, you don't want to have Bullock's shovel. I mean, if Bullock has his shovel out, that's bad news for anybody. Don't be afraid of Triple H's shovel. Be afraid of Bullock's shovel.
And Triple H should be afraid of the Phenom shovel.
Yeah, because Bullock's not afraid to bury your ass. Trust me. He's done it. I mean, Fletcher's buried people. Derek's buried people. I've even gone on the record and done it.
Yeah, whoever in the back would even think of coming up with the idea of having Nikki Bella once again the Divas champ.
Soon.
Yeah, whoever the person would be that would come up with the idea, they're gonna feel the wrath of me, and not in a good way.
And they'll feel my wrath too, and we'll see how Fletcher feels when we do the recap show on his channel tomorrow night. But nonetheless, I am going to go with Charlotte to successfully defend. If they get it right, and they better. I know they've been in a lot of hot water lately. If they get this right, Charlotte will successfully defend the Divas Championship against Nikki Bella tomorrow night. Please, for the love of God, don't even put us through that Bella Empire nonsense again. We endured it for 301 days. Don't make us have to endure it again. Please. Simple as that. I'm begging you. It's simple. Charlotte wins. Let's hope. So that's it.
Oh, and Florio, I found a little something I found on Facebook, and
yes,
it's called New Breed Wrestling, and this is what they say. Dave Meltzer is reporting that and get this, Samoa Joe is the person most likely to answer John Cena's U.S. Open challenge tomorrow night.
Whoa! How about that, huh? If that happens,
this is just a report. This is just a rumor.
I know. We'll read into it what we will.
Or as Derek Ferrera would like to say, take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, we'll take it with a grain of salt. And I even came across another dirt sheet of my own about Luke Harper, about Luke Harper being back in action tomorrow night. So we'll have to wait and see about that because Luke Harper is in Los Angeles too. So he was not on Raw because of a family issue. So it looks like he'll be back at the pay-per-view or on Raw Monday night. So we'll see about that when Raw comes to San Diego on Monday night, which which Bullock and myself, along with Fletcher, will recap Monday night on the Wrestling Forum. So with all that said, I got Charlotte winning. So give me Charlotte to retain the Divas title in what should be an interesting matchup. Should be a solid match. We're looking at probably another 2.5 to 3 there. Next up, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. It is the champion Seth Rollins to defend the title against the Demon Kane. Stipulation is if Kane loses, corporate/Citizen Kane will be fired as the director of operations. Okay. You all know Rollins has held the title since the heist of the century at WrestleMania when he cashed in Money in the Bank during that epic match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. He pinned Roman Reigns to win it. He's held it since. He's had a lot of chicken bleep heel antics. He's hardly successfully defended the title clean. I mean, he's only defended the title clean once, and that was against Dean Ambrose in that epic ladder match at Money in the Bank back in June. But every other match, he's had to find a way to win. You know, a la, of course, Jon Stewart, those shenanigans at SummerSlam, and of course, you know, the antics with Dean Ambrose at Elimination Chamber, that dusty finish there, and a whole lot more, and just barely escaped, and then well, actually, I think he kind of won clean against Sting at a Night of Champions. That was kind of a clean win. That wasn't really a cheap victory there. So there you go. But I'll give it up for Kane though. I mean, Kane is 47 years old and, you know, still doing things at a great level, at a high level. I mean, it's been over 18 years, just over 18 years since he debuted inside the inaugural Hell in a Cell. You know, that epic match with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. One of Bullock and myself's favorite matches of all time, a match that, you know, one of our all-time favorites. It ranks right up there as one of our all-time favorite matches, you know, between us, of course. But yeah, Kane, you know, he's been that reliable veteran, you know, for so many years. I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight. You know, some people have actually liked this feud. Some people, like myself, kind of really, you know, not so much because, you know, that whole split personality thing with Kane, you know, whether he's the Demon Kane or Corporate Kane, or as Derek likes to call him, Citizen Kane. But it'll be an interesting fight, though. I will give it that. I think we can easily get another 2.5 to 3 star fight out of this, you know, because we had one such match, that Monday Night Raw in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, where Kane went over Rollins in that lumberjack match, which I thought was a very good match, a solid match, to say the least. We're looking at 2.5 to 3 here, like I said. But to be quite honest with you, I mean, Derek has hinted, and I think even both of us will hint. There is a great possibility that Kane could do the unthinkable and win the title. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But thinking realistically, I don't see it happening. I got Seth Rollins successfully defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And as far as who is he going to defend against next, well, I know a certain someone that Michael Bullock is hoping will be Mr. Rollins' next challenger when it comes to the next big pay-per-view event, which is, of course, my favorite pay-per-view event of the year, the Survivor Series, which is next month in Atlanta. I'm so excited. I cannot wait because, you know, you already know the reasoning why I love the Survivor Series, the traditional Survivor Series elimination matchups, of course. And yes, Michael Bullock has the action figure. There was a dirt sheet saying that man right there would be possibly, only possibly now, read into it what you will, take it with a grain of salt, that possibly Rollins' next challenger could be the Phenom himself, the original Phenom, The Undertaker. Could it happen? Very possibly, considering that it will mark the 25th anniversary of when The Undertaker made his debut at that very event, the Survivor Series, as part of that traditional Survivor Series elimination matchup, when he teamed with the $1 Million Man, Teddy DiBiase, the Honky Tonk Man, Greg the Hammer Valentine, as part of the $1 Million team against the Dream Team, which was the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, captaining that team along with the then tag team champions, the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and of course, Coco Beware. So read into that what you will. We'll see what happens. But for right now, it's going to be Seth Rollins successfully defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then hopefully, finally now, we can finally get rid of the corporate / Citizen Kane character, which has been around far too long. It's beyond tired. It's beyond played out. And it's beyond the point of go away. Let's have Kane solely as the Demon Kane. That's it. No more corporate Citizen Kane nonsense. We've had enough of it. He's had his moments, don't get me wrong, but that's the Kane right there. Bullock's got the action figure again. That is the Kane that we want to see full-time and permanent from now on. Rollins successfully defends the gold, moves on to whoever is next. Could be Taker, could be somebody else. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see who WWE creative, we'll see who the creative team decides will be the next challenger. So with all that said, Michael Bullock, how do you follow that?
Yes, this has been some kind of an interesting feud between these two. Of course, we all remember Night of Champions. Demon Kane made his return and basically chokeslam at Tombstone Seth Rollins, and then you had that whole back and forth with Demon Kane and, of course, Corporate Kane, basically playing mind games with Seth Rollins. And yeah, I mean, could Kane do the impossible? Could he become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion? I don't see that happening. I also have Seth Rollins winning this match, retaining the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and finally getting rid of that Corporate Kane character. I mean, it's had its moments, but I mean, it's had way too it's been around for too long. It's tired. It's played out. It's at the point of go away. And this is the Kane that we want to see for good. The Demon Kane. Seth Rollins wins. So, with that being said, Florio, let's move on to, I think, is the first of our two Hell in a Cell matches.
Yep, and we have two matches left, and they are both inside the Devil's Playground known as Hell in a Cell. And we're going to start it off with Roman Reigns versus the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Michael Bullock, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Who you got, and is this where the feud ends between these two?
I believe this is where it has to end. I mean, we've seen feuds go on for too long. I think there's only one place that can settle a feud once and for all. Inside the Devil's Playground, Hell in a Cell. And Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt will be stepping into that structure for the first time ever. I mean, this rivalry has gone back to, of course, with what happened at Money in the Bank when Bray Wyatt cost Roman Reigns a chance at the Money in the Bank contract. And then, of course, at Battleground, it was Bray Wyatt who went over on Roman Reigns. And then, of course, SummerSlam, it was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose against Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. And then we had that 6-man tag team match with Jericho, Ambrose, and Reigns against the Wyatt family. And I think this is where the rivalry finally comes to an end. And I think this is going to be a solid match. Now, who do I see winning this match? Well, the thing is, I mean, Bray Wyatt, of course, he won the singles match back at Battleground. I think this is where Roman Reigns will get the win here and win Hell in a Cell. So Roman Reigns will win this match. So with that being said, Florio, I give it to you.
We have two Hell in a Cell matches. I mean, I believe as of now, there have been, I'll get the total count in a minute, but in the history of World Wrestling Entertainment, there have been, I believe it's either 29 or 30 all-time Hell in a Cell matches that have gone down in the since the structure debuted in 1997 at the Bad Blood pay-per-view, where Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker went at it for just about 30 minutes. As of now, there have been I have the official count. As of now, there have been 30 official Hell in a Cell matches that have taken place in the illustrious history of World Wrestling Entertainment. And this will be the third consecutive year at this event, Hell in a Cell, where we will have 2 Hell in a Cell matches. In 2013, we saw CM Punk defeat Ryback and Paul Heyman in a handicap match. We also saw Randy Orton defeat Daniel Bryan to become the WWE champion. Shawn Michaels, the referee. Last year, John Cena and Randy Orton stole the show in an epic Hell in a Cell match. A lot of people were pissing all over it because nobody liked the Cena-Orton thing because, you know, they feel that rivalry's gone on way too long. But that match that they had last year was epic, to say the very least. I watched it back last night. Fantastic Hell in a Cell match. Cena won that to become the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then the other match that we saw last year was Seth Rollins against Dean Ambrose. A match that we felt was somewhat disappointing because we all thought that was going to be an instant classic. Not so much. The 31st Hell in a Cell match. There's no question about it. It's going to be Reigns and Wyatt that go first. So this will be technically, in my opinion, the 31st Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. And I got a damn good feeling about both of these matches. This one here, I think is going to be somewhere between 4 to 4.25 stars, and it's going to be one of the top fights of the night. Matter of fact, it's in my top 3 for fights of the night. The other Hell in a Cell match, and of course the Cena U.S. Open Challenge match. Those to me are going to be the 3 fights of the night right there, guaranteed. But Reigns and Wyatt, this is going to be smash mouth. It's going to be physical. I think it's going to get hardcore at times. There's going to be some weapons, I feel. I think they're going to use the weapons quite a bit. All the weapons will come into play. This is going to be a straight-up be-a-man fight. And I agree with Bullock's reasoning. I mean, Bray Wyatt went over at Battleground, the one-on-one match. Of course, we saw the tag team match at SummerSlam. That was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose going over on Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. And then, of course, who could forget the night after SummerSlam on Monday Night Raw when we saw the debut of Braun Strowman, a young man who I have been very, very impressed with. You've heard me say it countless times on the Wrestling Forum, how high up on his work I've been. I got to see the man in person when SmackDown came here to Providence back on back exactly 2 months ago, August 25th. I was there with my brother and his 2 friends. We couldn't believe how freakish and how huge he was in person. And it led to the 6-man tag at the Night of Champions, where the new Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman, went over Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and their special mystery partner, Chris Jericho. Very good match, to say the very least. And now this match. Could there be some Wyatt family shenanigans here? Remember, Eric Rowan is back now. We're looking at a 4-man unit in the Wyatt family with Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Braun Strowman, and now Eric Rowan back. If that's true, holy guacamole, that is going to be one tough force to beat right there. They're going to be unbeatable. But with this being Hell in a Cell, and with it being one-on-one, and considering that Roman Reigns, you know how high up WWE, you know how high up Vince McMahon and the suits are in WWE are on Roman Reigns' body of work. There's no question about it. He has the makings of a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I expect fully within the next year or 2 that Roman Reigns will be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. For him to get there, he's got to get that high-profile match win. And I think he's going to get it right here. So, Michael Bullock, I 100% agree with you. Roman Reigns will defeat Bray Wyatt in what I will consider the 31st Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. There will be a 32nd Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. there is another one, and it's going to be most likely, very likely, the main event of this pay-per-view / network special. It's the big one, the final encounter, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman in Brock Lesnar's corner as always. This is to me going to be the fight of the night right here. We all know the history. They've met in Hell in a Cell before. No Mercy, 2002. The American Badass Undertaker versus the next big thing, Brock Lesnar, WWE Championship match. To me, it was a 5-star classic. Chock full of Shakespearean drama at its finest. And to me, I consider it the bloodiest Hell in a Cell match of all time. I had never seen so much bloodshed in my entire life back then and when I watched the fight back a couple weeks ago. Man, oh man alive. That thing was vicious and brutal and violent as anything it can be. This time around, it's not going to be, because of the whole PG nonsense, it's not going to be as bloody and violent as the match we saw in 2002. The rivalry kicked up again. WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar beats The Undertaker, hands him his first ever loss at WrestleMania, shocks the world. One of the main reasons why WrestleMania 30 will go down as the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Because of that, of course, because of Daniel Bryan and his epic night, winning the title and everything else. But, all of the Miracle on Bourbon Street. But nonetheless, though, Lesnar went over. He did the unthinkable. He beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He'll probably most likely be the only guy to ever defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, unless we see something out of the ordinary go down at this upcoming WrestleMania. Because Taker's going to be at that WrestleMania, no doubt about it. Especially with his home state of Texas and Jerry World. Come on, no way Taker's not going to miss that. And then, of course, SummerSlam. We got the rematch. Controversy abounded. The third strike, if you will, as to why that SummerSlam could not have been the greatest one of all time. It could have been. It was 3 strikes. The other 2. We're not going to bore you with those details. But Taker won with controversy. It looked like Lesnar had won at first, but the tap out of the Kimura. Referee Charles Robinson, the whole drama. The timekeeper, who, oh, by the way, is Tugboat Typhoon Fred Ottman's real-life son, oh, by the way. Found that out on the dirt sheet. He's the one who rang the bell. Charles Robinson reads him the riot act. And then Taker low blows, locks in Hell's Gate, and submits Lesnar. Well, he didn't really submit. He passed out. And they awarded the win to The Undertaker. There's going to be no controversy. There's going to be no BS. This is going to be, to me, the fight of the night. And it's going to be, perhaps, maybe, the greatest match in the history of this series between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. I think it's going to be between 4.5 to possibly another 5-star between these two. While it may not be as bloody, it's still going to be an epic Hell in a Cell match. I expect this Hell in a Cell match to go down as one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches of all time. I expect it to be a 5-star classic, chock full of the finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see. As far as who wins, I know there's a lot of people out there that say Brock Lesnar is going to win this match. And I can certainly understand that, and rightfully so, including Derek Ferreira, who thinks that Lesnar is the special attraction, and he's got Lesnar winning this match. And he's also got Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble, and again, winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. All that could happen. It very well could happen. It very likely will happen, most likely. But at the end of the day, though, I just have this feeling about The Undertaker. Something tells me, my gut is telling me to go with Lesnar, honestly. But I'm going to listen to my heart here. I'm going with The Undertaker to win this Hell in a Cell match. And as I always like to say, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. So I'm going with The Undertaker to defeat Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. Would I be surprised if Lesnar wins? Of course not. Absolutely not. I would not be surprised whatsoever. But at the end of the day, though, there's just something that tells me The Undertaker is going to win this match to get back the streak, It's as simple as that. So with that said, I'm going to throw it up now to the biggest Undertaker fan that I know, and a man who I know is looking forward to this match more than anybody in the entire world, let alone this Wrestling Forum panel. So, Michael Bullock, I ask you, how do you follow what I just said? And I already know who you've got winning this match, but I really want to get your thoughts on this, considering that this is your man and this is your match. So, Mr. Bullock, I'm saving the best for last, man. I give it to you, my friend. It's all yours. Bullock, your thoughts? Hell in a Cell.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. Forgot to unmute my mic there. So, yeah. Like I said, what can you say? This is the final encounter between Lesnar and Taker, two rivals. This rivalry started back at WrestleMania 30, where Lesnar did the impossible and ended the Undertaker's undefeated streak. And then, of course, they went on and on about how Brock ended the streak, and basically, then back at Battleground, it looked like Lesnar was going to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Who shows up? The Undertaker. And he figures this was the time for him to get his payback. And then the night after Battleground, we had one of the most chaotic brawls in WWE history, to the point where he had security, superstars, even the police trying to
One of the
break.
most?
Huh?
One of the most? No, Bullock. It
No,
was
not.
the most.
I stand corrected. Not one of the most. The most chaotic brawl in WWE history.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, you basically had everybody out there trying to separate these two, and there were times it wasn't even working. And then, of course, the homecoming for Lesnar, where he got tombstoned by The Undertaker. Then you go to their matchup at SummerSlam. It ended in controversy, where it looked like Taker, where it showed he did tap out to the Kimura lock, but and that timekeeper rang the bell, but Charles Robinson overruled him, saying, "I never called for the bell." And basically Undertaker locked in Hell's Gate, got Lesnar to pass out. He got the win, while Lesnar and Heyman say that it's Lesnar who's the real winner. So now it comes to this, the final encounter, and it'll be inside the Devil's Playground, Hell in a Cell. Undertaker will be making his 13th appearance inside that structure, while for Brock Lesnar, it will be only his second appearance inside Hell in a Cell. You got to go back to No Mercy 2002, where these two met. Of course, when The Undertaker was the American Badass, and Lesnar was basically just getting his career started. Of course, coming off of course, winning the WWE Championship back at SummerSlam 2002, and that Hell in a Cell encounter was one of, if not the bloodiest Hell in a Cell matches I've ever seen. And of course, let's not forget that cell during that 2002 encounter was smaller than the one you see right now. This cell is bigger than the one that we saw back in 2002. So, all right, the $1,000,000 question: who walks out of Hell in a Cell the victor? I know some people. I mean, a lot of people are thinking Brock Lesnar is going to win this one, but I gotta go with Anthony Florio. I think The Undertaker is going to win this one because, I mean, so many people saying that his victory at SummerSlam was tainted, and I think The Undertaker needs this one more than Lesnar. Would I be surprised if Brock Lesnar walks out the winner? No, I wouldn't be surprised, but either way, I got The Undertaker winning this. And then, what's next for the dead man? Could it be that rumored feud against Seth Rollins? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out. But either way, Taker's walking out of Hell in a Cell the victor. So, that being said, Florio, let's wrap it up. with how we think this is going to be.
Well, Derek Ferreira thinks it's going to be. He has it initially as a 6 out of 10, but he feels that if the Hell in a Cell match is delivered, that it could be a 7 out of 10. I respectfully disagree with that. I think when you look at the body of work of this card, top to bottom, even with the pre-show fight, I think this could be another very good pay-per-view event. I mean, I think we could be looking at upwards of 7.5 to 8 out of 10, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, because I'm going to be honest. I think both Hell in a Cell matches are going to deliver. I just think Taker and Lesnar is going to be better. I got that as a 4.5 to 5 star. I think Reigns and Wyatt is going to be a good 4 to 4.25 star fight, maybe teetering on 4.5 there as well. I think John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge is going to round out the top 3 fights of the night. We're looking at probably another 4 to 4.25 there, because you know how damn good those fights have been since that whole thing started. And then you got some other great solid matches. I mean, you got Kevin Owens and Ryback, which I think could be a very good Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match. Tag team title fight should be halfway decent. You know, the Dudleys and the New Day should be interesting. Divas fight, we'll see how that goes. You know, Charlotte, Nikki Bella, that could be an interesting title fight as well. And then of course, then you have that 6-man. I mean, you have that 6-man match with during the pre-show with Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville going up against Rusev, Barrett, and Sheamus. And then, of course, we can't forget about Rollins and Kane either, which I think can be a solid match as well. So I knew I was missing one. So if I'm going to be honest with you, based on the body of work of all the matches, I think we could be looking at upwards of, you know what? I think I'm going to make it somewhere between 8 to 8.5 out of 10, even though I'm leaning more towards 8 out of 10, if I'm being honest with you. So I think it could, I mean, based on the body of work, I think it could go down as one of the better Hell in a Cell pay-per-view events in recent memory since this whole event started back in 2009. So with that said, Michael Bullock, let's how do you feel this event's going to play out? Do you agree with my rating, or do you think it's more like Derek's rating?
I think it's good. I think it's more like your rating. I would say, like, well, what did you give it again?
Well, I gave it initially. I was leaning towards 7.5 to 8, but I think I'm leaning more towards 8 to 8.5. But ultimately, I'm settling on a solid 8.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think it's gonna be more of a solid 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, it's obviously gonna be highlighted by the Undertaker Brock Lesnar final encounter inside the Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt fighting inside that structure. You got a good 6-man tag team kickoff show match. You got what could be a solid Divas match, a solid Intercontinental title match. What can we expect from the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge? So a lot of good things could happen. That's why I think it could be an 8 out of 10. So really got nothing else to say except Florio. Let's wrap up our preview show.
And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So that'll put the ball on this edition of this special pay-per-view preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. As we've just previewed the Hell in a Cell event, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, be sure to join myself and Michael Bullock along with Michael Fletcher tomorrow night, immediately following the Hell in a Cell event, as the three of us will be on Fletcher's channel, Braves Fan 95, as we will recap. We will have a complete recap of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view / network special, and then we will officially start the road to my favorite pay-per-view event of the year, the Survivor Series, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then, of course, other future content. Monday night, the Wrestling Forum, where we'll sort out all the fallout from Hell in a Cell, as Monday Night Raw will be live in San Diego. And then, of course, Friday night, College Football Friday, headlined by that great matchup between Notre Dame and Temple. Definitely looking forward to that show. NFL Saturday, hopefully Mr. Bullock or Fletcher or somebody will be with me this time around as we preview great matchups, in next week in the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. But of course, the headline game of the week next week, the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos in a battle of the unbeatens. that is going to be all kinds of epic, to say the very least. So great future content coming up here on the Tone 25 and Braves Fan 95, the Strictly Sports family of networks. So until tomorrow night for our Hell in a Cell recap edition of the Wrestling Forum on Fletch's channel, Braves Fan 95, it is Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Derek Ferreira, saying, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Enjoy your NFL Sunday as well as the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And until then, you've been watching this Hell in a Cell preview edition of the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Once again, bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Don't forget to check out my solo edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday up on my channel right now. And until tomorrow night, for now, Anthony Florio, so long.